Imagine a scenario, day that unfolds in thousands of homes across the country. Evening. On the left side of your screen, day you see an older adult sitting in their favorite armchair, day reading a book. Suddenly, day an invisible but massive weight drops onto their chest. Day it feels exactly like a heavy stone has fallen straight down on them. Their left arm starts to tingle, day and quickly goes completely numb. Their blood pressure skyrockets, panic sets in, day and their heart begins to aggressively struggle for oxygen. Day because they are completely alone, day the fear amplifies the damage, day and the situation quickly turns fatal. Day look at the right side of your screen. Day you see the exact same terrifying medical emergency happening to another senior in the exact same armchair. But this time, day the outcome is entirely different. This person does not panic. They immediately execute a precise sequence of actions in the very first minute. Their heart rate visibly slows down. Day their blood pressure stabilizes. Day they buy themselves the critical time needed to survive. Day the difference between the left side and the right side is not luck. Day it is the absolute mastery of what medical professionals call the golden window. Every single year, over 3,000 Americans face life-threatening cardiac events while they are completely alone. According to data from the American Heart Association, out of the massive number of individuals suffering from these attacks, over 85,000 completely ignore or intentionally brush off the very first warning signs. What is even more alarming is that 89% of adults over the age of 60 have absolutely no emergency plan in their mind for what to do if their heart suddenly cries for help when nobody else is in the room. When that chest pain strikes, the natural human instinct is to stand up, or take rapid, shallow breaths. Those exact instinctual reactions are the fastest way to deplete your remaining oxygen and cause an immediate, fatal spike in your blood pressure. Before we dive deep into the exact science of this golden window, and the physical steps that can save your life, I want to ask you a quick question. Have you, or someone you love, ever experienced a sudden unexplained fatigue, a weird pressure in your chest, or a frightening moment with your heart health? Please comment the number down below. Sharing your experience helps us build a strong community of awareness. So go ahead and drop a 1 in the comments right now. To truly understand the importance of this golden time, we have to look at the silent whispers your body sends before the actual storm hits. The human body does not just shut down like a light bulb without warning. Long before a massive pressure builds up in your chest, your heart sends out subtle distress signals. You might feel a vague pressure that mimics simple indigestion. You might experience a sudden, overwhelming wave of making your entire body feel exhausted even though you have not done any heavy lifting. You might even feel a slight shortness of breath. Most seniors brush these whispers off. They assume they just need a good night of sleep, or that it is just acid reflux. They sit down and hope the feeling passes. But a major publication in the Journal of the American Medical Association highlights a vital truth. You have a strict 10-minute golden window act when these mild symptoms first appear, before the artery becomes completely blocked. Deep inside the artery, a microscopic crack forms on the surface of a cholesterol plaque. Your immune system immediately rushes in to heal that tiny crack, much like how a scab forms when you cut your finger. This enthusiastic healing process creates a large blood clot that rapidly narrows, or completely blocks, the flow of oxygen-rich blood to your heart. When a portion of the heart muscle starts suffocating, the rest of the heart pumps frantically to compensate. This creates a massive internal pressure. For older adults, managing this sudden spike in blood pressure is the absolute key to survival. Acting right in those first 10 minutes is the exact boundary between life and permanent, irreversible heart damage. Furthermore, knowing exactly what to do in the first 60 seconds of the actual attack helps increase the survival rate by an astounding 73%. This 1 minute, is the most crucial time of your life. When the oxygen, your brain is instantly affected. Within just 15 seconds of reduced blood flow, the brain starts shutting down non-essential systems. Panic triggers a massive release of adrenaline. That adrenaline forces your blood vessels to constrict tightly, causing your blood pressure to skyrocket, and forcing an already starving heart to work twice as hard, just to survive. Every single minute that passes without oxygen means roughly 10% of the affected heart muscle is at risk of dying permanently. This is why understanding the golden window is not just a casual health tip. It is a fundamental survival skill. You cannot wait for the pain to become unbearable. Day, you cannot wait for the movie version of a heart attack, where the chest pain is tearing you apart. Day, you must recognize the whispers. Day, and you must act within the first 60 seconds to halt the panic, lower the blood pressure, day, and preserve your cardiovascular system. Day, once you recognize those gentle whispers turning into a shouting vascular crisis, day, that exact moment is when you must activate your survival protocol. Day, you cannot rely on a complex mental checklist when your brain is actively being starved of oxygen. Day, you need a system that is completely hardwired into your memory. Day, this is where the core survival blueprint comes in. Day, medical professionals refer to this as the abscissive method. Day, it is a sequence of actions so logical, day, and so powerful. Day, it allows you to manually override your failing cardiovascular system and control your blood pressure. Day, when you are entirely alone. Day is for aspirin. Day, most older adults know that aspirin is critical during a heart emergency, yet almost everyone takes it completely wrong. Day, when a microscopic plaque ruptures, day, and a clot is rapidly forming inside your artery, day, time is your absolute worst enemy. If you swallow a pill whole with a glass of water, day, that pill has to travel through your entire digestive system. Day, that process takes an average of 26 agonizing minutes before the medication even begins to enter your bloodstream. You do not have 26 minutes. You must aggressively chew a full dose, day, 325 milligram aspirin. Day, by chewing it to a paste. Day, the medication absorbs directly through the heavy network of capillaries under your tongue, day, entering your bloodstream in just 14 minutes. Day, those 12 saved minutes can literally stop the blood clot from expanding. Furthermore, day, if you are prescribed nitroglycerin, day, placing it under your tongue acts as a massive vasodilator to open up the restricted vessels. Day, but here is a severe medical warning. Day, you must never use nitroglycerin if you have taken any erectile dysfunction medication in the past 48 hours. Both medications are extreme vasodilators. Day, and the combination will cause an unstoppable, fatal drop in blood pressure. Day, before we move to the next critical steps that involve hijacking your nervous system and the famous 5-second physical trick, day, I want to check in with you. Day, if you are finding this step-by-step breakdown helpful, day, or if you are realizing right now that your current emergency plan needs a serious update, day, please comment the number 2 below. Day, it helps us ensure that saving education is reaching the seniors who need it the most. Day, so please drop a 2 in the comments right now. D and C stand for breathing in calm. When extreme chest pressure hits, day, your primal human instinct is to hyperventilate. Day, you start taking rapid, day, shallow breaths in a sheer panic. This is a deadly mistake. Panic floods your body with adrenaline, forcing your struggling heart to beat faster, spiking your blood pressure further, day, and burning up the tiny amount of oxygen you have left. Day, you must manually force your nervous system to stand down using the 4-4-6 diaphragmatic breathing technique. Day, inhale very deeply through your nose for 4 seconds. Day, hold that breath for exactly 4 seconds. Then purse your lips and exhale incredibly slowly, day, for 6 seconds, day, as if you are blowing out a candle without making the wax splatter. Day, making the exhale longer than the inhale acts like an emergency brake for your vascular system, dropping your heart rate by 10 to 15 beats per minute. Day, and reducing internal damage by nearly half. Stands for done. Do not eat. Do not drink water. Day, as the risk of day or severe acid reflux is incredibly high when your body is entering shock. Day, and absolutely do not attempt to drive yourself to the emergency room. Day, your body must enter a state of absolute physical rest. For emergency services, day, and the most overlooked physical action of all, you must dial 911 immediately, but the very next second, you must walk straight to your front door, day, and unlock it. Do this before you do anything else. Day, during a severe cardiovascular event, day, your legs will likely lose the ability to balance, day, or walk within the first 3 to 5 minutes. Day, if you collapse before unlocking that door, day, you have just locked yourself inside a prison. Day, emergency responders will waste an average of 11 life-threatening minutes, day, just trying to break down your door to get to you. Finally, stands for flat, day, which brings us to the incredible 5-second trick. Once that door is unlocked, do not sit back in your armchair. You must lower yourself slowly to the floor, day, and lie flat on your back, bending your knees gently. Day, bending your knees takes the heavy gravitational pressure off your diaphragm, day, allowing your lungs to expand fully. Day, more importantly, day, this exact posture stimulates the vagus nerve running through your abdomen, day, sending a direct chemical signal to your brain, day, to lower your blood pressure. Day, if lying flat makes you feel like you are suffocating, shift to the semi-Fowler position. Sit on the floor with your back against a wall at a 45-degree angle. Day, loosen your belt and any tight clothing immediately. Medical data shows that simply unbuckling a tight belt day can increase your blood oxygen levels by 8%. Day, if you feel yourself fading into unconsciousness in those first 60 seconds, take a deep breath. Day, enforce a deep, aggressive cough from your diaphragm every 2 seconds. Day, this mechanical action physically squeezes the heart from the inside, acting like internal chest compressions. Day, that push oxygenated blood up to your brain. Day, buying you an average of 92 extra seconds of consciousness. Surviving a solitary heart crisis is not a game of chance. It is about taking immediate, calculated control of your body. Day, when it matters most, you are on the floor. You have managed your breathing. Day, you have positioned your body to reduce the strain on your heart. Day, but what if the internal damage is already severe? Day, what if the massive fluctuations in your blood pressure are pulling you rapidly toward unconsciousness? Day, before you can even reach the lock on your front door. Day, if you feel the darkness closing in, then your vision starts to tunnel. Day, you must deploy the ultimate emergency override. Day, there is a highly specific and physically demanding technique designed exactly for this terrifying gray zone. In the medical community, it is often discussed with strict warnings, but in a life or death survival situation where you are completely isolated, Day, it serves as a brilliant mechanical failsafe. It is known as artificial pressure generation, or what many survival experts call COP. Day, I must be absolutely clear before explaining how this works. Day, this is not a substitute for an ambulance. You only use this aggressive technique in the very first 30 to 60 seconds of an attack. Day, and strictly when you are still completely conscious. Day, but actively feel yourself starting to black out. Day, how does a simple cough save a dying heart? Day, to understand this, Day, you must think of your chest cavity as a sealed hydraulic chamber. Day, when your heart is failing to pump blood due to extreme vascular pressure, Day, and a severe lack, Day, the blood supply to your head drops instantly. Your brain detects this drop, Day, and immediately begins shutting down the entire system. Day, you literally have seconds before you lose consciousness. Day, this is where you have to manually take over the pumping process. Day, you must take a very deep, aggressive breath of air. Day, then you must force out a powerful, deep chest cough. Day, originating straight from your diaphragm. Day, this is not a polite clearing of the throat. This is a violent, Day, as if you were trying to forcefully expel something stuck deep inside your lungs. You must repeat this exact cycle. One deep breath, followed by one massive every 2 seconds without stopping. Day, every single time you execute that massive cough, Day, the sudden violent contraction of your chest muscles, Day, creates extreme mechanical pressure inside your ribcage. Day, it physically squeezes your heart from the outside in. Day, you are essentially performing manual chest compressions on yourself, Day, from the inside of your own body. Day, this violent squeezing forces whatever oxygenated blood is left in your heart straight up the carotid arteries and directly into your starving brain. By manually pumping the blood yourself, Day, you physically delay your brain from shutting down. Day, scientific observation shows this internal pumping mechanism can buy an individual an average of 92 extra seconds of consciousness. Day, 92 seconds might sound completely insignificant, Day, on a normal Tuesday afternoon. Day, when you are entirely alone and your cardiovascular system is crashing, Day, 92 seconds is an absolute eternity. Day, it is the exact amount of time you need, Day, to hit the numbers 911 on your keypad. Day, it is the exact amount of time you need, Day, to drag your body across the living room carpet, Day, and turn the deadbolt on your front door. Day, so emergency responders can actually reach you. Day, surviving a solitary heart crisis is absolutely never a game of chance or luck. It is about preparation, Day, extreme discipline, Day, and a profound understanding of how your body operates under pressure. Day, but the ultimate goal of understanding these extreme survival mechanics, Day, is to make sure you never actually have to use them. Day, this level of preparation should deeply change how you view your daily health. Day, the human body is a masterpiece of engineering. Day, it constantly sends you subtle signals about your blood pressure, Day, long before an emergency strike. The daily tension headache, the unexplained fatigue, Day, the shortness of breath when walking up a single flight of stairs. Day, these are not just signs of getting older. Day, these are the whispers. Day, when you learn to respect these whispers, Day, when you actively manage your high blood pressure daily, Day, and when you understand the exact physical mechanics of your own survival, you stop living in fear. Day, you take your power back from the silent killer. You transform from a potential victim, Day into someone who has total control over their cardiovascular destiny. Day you have transformed from a potential victim. Day into someone who has total control over their cardiovascular destiny. Day you know how to buy yourself those extra 92 seconds of consciousness. Day using internal pressure. Day but having these ultimate survival mechanics in your mind means absolutely nothing. Day if your physical environment is working against you. The final piece of this survival puzzle is your emergency infrastructure. Day this is the preparation that dictates whether those extra seconds are actually enough to save your life. Day let's look at a terrifying reality about how the human brain functions during a severe drop in blood oxygen. We always assume that calling 911 is the easiest thing in the world. But emergency medical data reveals a chilling fact. 67% of older adults who survive a severe heart emergency, admit they could not remember their own home address when the dispatcher answered the phone. This is not because of age-related memory loss. When your heart struggles, oxygen to the brain plummets instantly. Then 15 seconds, your brain enters survival mode and temporarily shuts down the hippocampus, the exact area responsible for logic and memory recall. A simple task, it becomes an impossible mountain. To beat this cognitive freak, you must bypass your memory entirely. You need to write your full home address, bold, on a bright yellow or red card, and tape it next to every single phone in your house. Firmer, you must program 911 into your speed dial, on button number 1. In a state of extreme panic, when your vision is going dark, and your hands are trembling, holding down one single, and reading a bright card, is 1,000 times easier, than trying to remember the name of your street. Timing is another fatal factor you must prepare for. 43% of fatal cardiac events in older adults, happen the dead of night, between 10 in the evening and 6 in the morning. As your body prepares to wake up, your circadian rhythm shifts, and your blood pressure naturally spikes. Think about your current nightly routine. Where does your cell phone charge? If it is plugged into the kitchen wall, or resting on the living room coffee table while you sleep, you're making a critical mistake. Your phone must be charging on your nightstand, no more than an arm length away from your pillow. The environment inside your home also holds hidden dangers, especially the bathroom. Heat and high humidity in a shower, cause rapid changes in your heart rate, and massive fluctuations in blood pressure. Yet, data shows that 31% of seniors intentionally take off their medical alert devices when they shower or go to bed, because they feel bulky. You are removing your armor in the exact moments you are most vulnerable to an attack. You must invest in a waterproof medical alert device and wear it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It is absolutely non-negotiable. Finally, we have to talk about the physical barrier between you and the paramedics. Your front door. If you collapse before you can unlock it, responders will waste an average of 8 to 11 minutes trying to physically break down your door. In cardiovascular emergency, 8 minutes is a lifetime. Every single minute your heart goes without oxygen, roughly 10% of the affected muscle risks permanent death. Installing a simple combination lockbox outside your front door, and giving that code to your local emergency dispatch, can literally save your heart from irreversible damage. Let us bring all of this together. Surviving a solitary heart crisis is never a game of chance. It is the direct result of discipline. A profound respect for how your body operates. It starts with listening to the gentle whispers of your body. Those unexplained headaches, the sudden fatigue, and the mild chest pressure. It continues with knowing exactly how to aggressively chew an aspirin. How to force your blood pressure down with 4-4-6 breathing. How to position your body flat on the floor to stimulate the vagus nerve. And having your home strictly prepared for an ambulance. Your body is a masterpiece of engineering. And when you learn to listen to it, you build an unbreakable shield around your health. If you found this life-saving information valuable, please share this video with someone you love right now. And before you go, I want you to leave a comment below, telling me which one of these preparation steps you are going to implement in your home tonight. Take charge of your health. Stay prepared. And I will see you in the next video.